creating sustainable habits. Now, how do we make habits, right, stick for the long haul? So self-care is not a one-time fix for sure. It's a lifestyle. So to make self-care a consistent part of your life, you need to develop sustainable habits. And this means small, manageable changes that you can stick with over in the long run. So trying to change too much too quickly is a recipe for burnout. And I see this all the time. So instead, focus on building one or two habits at a time and gradually expanding your routine as you progress. So the idea that it takes 21 days to form a habit is a pervasive myth. It's catchy, right? It's a catchy number, but it's not based on solid scientific evidence, and it can be quite misleading. Now, the origin of the myth, it actually originated from the work of plastic surgeon Dr. Maxwell Maltz in the 1950s. He observed that his patients often took after surgery about 21 days to adjust to their new appearance after the surgery. He then generalized this observation to suggest that it takes 21 days to form any new habit. Well, the reality is habit formation is so much more complex. It's so much more variable, maybe not complex, but it's more variable. Research shows that the time that it takes to form a habit varies significantly, right? So it really depends on so many things, like the complexity of the habit, the individual's motivation, and other factors. And it can take anywhere from a few weeks to several months, or even longer, for a habit to become automatic. Now, a 2009 study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it took participants anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, like drinking more water or going for a run. The average was 66 days. That seems to be that sweet spot. So complexity matters. Simpler the habit, like drinking a glass of water before your coffee, tend to form more quickly than obviously complex habits like going to the gym 3 times a week. Now, consistency is another factor. That is definitely key. The most important factor is actually consistency, in my opinion. Regularly performing the behavior is what really strengthens those neural pathways associated with that habit, right? So individual differences is also another one that I talked about earlier. Everyone is different. Some people form habits very, very easily and more quickly than others. So why is this 21-day myth harmful? Well, unrealistic expectations, right? The 21-day myth sets unrealistic expectations for you, for me, for everyone. When people don't see results in 21 days, guess what happens? They give up, right? They become discouraged, thinking that they've actually failed. So focus on time, not process. Okay. So the focus on a specific number of days distracts from the importance of the process of habit formation. So which involves consistent effort, self-compassion, and adapting strategies as needed. So let's focus on the process and the outcomes really, and versus time. Okay, so a more helpful approach, instead of focusing on a specific number of days, it's more helpful to focus on consistency, prioritize regularly, put it in your calendar, perform this behavior you want to form as a habit. Be patient. Understand that habit formation takes time and effort. Be kind to yourself. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. Just get back on track as soon as possible. Track your progress, monitor your progress, and celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Adjust your approach. If something isn't working, be willing to adjust your strategy, okay? And focus on the process. Enjoy the journey of building new habits. Now, in short, this 21-day myth is just that, a myth. While it's nice, round number, it doesn't reflect the reality of habit formation. A more helpful approach is to focus on consistency, be patient, and be kind to yourself. All right, so now I'm going to share with you a framework, a habit formation framework, and it's actually called the 3 R's. Now, the power of small changes, it actually really stresses the power of small changes and building habits that last. Now, understanding how habits are formed is key to building sustainable self-care practices. The 3 R's provides a simple, very simple, practical framework for creating new habits. The reminder is the trigger that prompts you to perform the behavior. The routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is what makes you want to repeat the behavior. So you have the reminder, the routine, and the trigger, okay? That actually allows you to that prompts you to perform the behavior. So the routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is what makes you want to repeat the behavior. So habit stacking is a powerful, powerful technique for linking new habits to existing ones by attaching a new habit to something that you're already doing regularly. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. And I think it comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear, or it might have come from somewhere else, and he really popularized it recently. So you make it more likely to stick and remember to doing it because you're already doing something anyway. So the 3 R's. Remember, reminder, a cue that triggers the behavior, routine, the behavior itself, and the reward, the positive consequence or consequences that reinforce the behavior. And of course, habit stacking as well. So before we dive into it, let's quickly review what this means exactly when it comes to, for example, one example. Reminder, it's the cue. This is what triggers the habit. It could be a time of day, a location, another activity, even an emotion. Routine is your behavior. This is the actual habit you want to develop. And the reward is something positive that reinforces the habit, right? Making you want to repeat it. It needs to be something genuinely rewarding to you. That's why it's very personalized as well. All right. So for example, here are some examples. Sleep hygiene, okay? Your current habit, brushing teeth at night. New habit, after I brush my teeth, I will dim the lights and read for 15 minutes before going to bed. The reward is feeling relaxed and sleepy, leading to a beautiful, restorative, good night's sleep. Okay, number 2, nutrition. All right, let's give an example for nutrition. Current habit, you're making your morning coffee or tea, right? Your new habit, before I make my coffee or tea, I will drink a large glass of lemon water. The reward, feeling hydrated and energized, contributing to your overall health. How cool is that, right? Current habit, lunch break. New habit, before I eat lunch, I will spend 5 minutes mindfully observing and being grateful for the food in front of me. The reward, savoring my food more, feeling more satisfied, and improving your digestion. Okay, example number 3, when it comes to movement. Your current habit, sitting down at my desk, okay? Your new habit, after I sit down on my desk, I will do 2 minutes of desk stretches. And you can look at my other YouTube video that I do some yoga, chair yoga. Reward, feeling refreshed and energized, preventing stiffness from sitting all day. Here's another one pertaining to movement. Current habit, you're turning on the TV. New habit, before I turn on the TV, I will do a 5-minute walk around the block. How cool is that, right? Reward, enjoying my show, guilt-free, knowing I've got some movement in, okay? Number 4, example, stress management. Your current habit is checking my emails in the morning. New habit, before I check my All right. So how do you create sustainable habits? How do we make these stick? How do we make these self-care habits long term? Well, self-care is not a one-time fix. It's a lifestyle. To make self-care a consistent part of your life, you need to develop sustainable habits. This means making small, manageable changes that you can stick to over the long haul. Trying to change too much too quickly is a recipe for burnout. Instead, focus on building 1 or 2 new habits at a time and gradually expanding your routine as you progress. The idea it takes 21 days to form a habit is honestly a myth. And it is just that. It's very catchy. It's a nice number, but it's not based on solid scientific evidence. And it can be quite misleading. Do you want to know what the origins of the 21-day myth likely are? Well, they may have originated from the work of plastic surgeon Dr. Maxwell Maltz in the 1950s. He observed that his patients often took about 21 days to adjust to their new appearance after surgery. He then generalized this observation to suggest that it takes 21 days to form any new habit. Well, the reality is habit formation is so much more. There are so many more variables to keep in consideration. So research shows that the time it takes to form a habit varies significantly depending on the habit's complexity, the individual's motivation, and other factors. It can take anywhere from a few weeks to several months or even longer for a habit to become automatic. Now, there was a study in 2009 published by the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it took approximately participants anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, like drinking more water or going for a run. The average was 66 days. Now, complexity matters. Simpler habits, right? Makes sense. Like drinking a glass of water before coffee tend to form more quickly than complex habits like going to the gym 3 times a week. Consistency is also key. The most important factor is consistency, in my opinion. Regularly performing the behavior is what strengthens the neural pathways associated with that habit. Now, of course, individual differences play a role here. Everyone is different. Some people form habits more easily than others. So, why is the 21-day myth so harmful? Well, it's unrealistic expectations, right? It really sets those unrealistic expectations. When people don't see results in 21 days, they become discouraged. They give up. They think that they have failed. Well, my opinion, we should be focusing on the process, not the time, right? The focus on a specific number of days distracts from the importance of the process of habit formation, which involves a consistent effort, self-compassion, and adapting strategies as you need it. A more helpful approach, instead of focusing on a specific number of days, it's more helpful to focus on consistency. Prioritize regularly performing the behavior you want to make a habit. Be patient. Understand that a habit formation takes time and effort. Be kind to yourself. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. Just get back on track as soon as possible. Track your progress. Sometimes this really works. Monitoring your progress and celebrating your success, no matter how small. Adjust your approach. If something isn't working, be willing to adjust your strategy. Focus on the process. Enjoy the journey of building a new habit. In short, to summarize, the 21-day myth is just that, a myth. While it's nice, round number, it doesn't reflect the reality of habit formation. A more helpful approach is to focus on consistency, be patient, and be kind to yourself. Now, I'm going to give you something actually that is proven to really help to create a habit, and it's a habit formation framework. Who doesn't love frameworks? I love frameworks. It's really simple. It's got only 3 R's in there. And so we're going to start by understanding that habits are formed under only, right? The key is if you can actually build sustainable self-care practices around it. All right. So the 3 R's provide a very simple framework for creating new habits. The first R is called the reminder. So the reminder is the trigger that prompts you to perform the behavior. The second R is the routine. The routine is the behavior itself. And the third R is the reward. This is what makes you want to repeat the behavior. Now, habit stacking also comes into play here and is a powerful technique for linking new habits to existing ones. So by attaching a new habit to something you already do regularly, you make it, wow, I can't say that word. You make it more likely to remember and stick with it. How cool is that? So just to recap, the first R is reminder, a cue that triggers the behavior. The second R is the behavior itself. And the third R is the positive consequence or consequences that reinforce the behavior or that reinforces you to actually keep doing the behavior. All right, let's see some examples now. So when it comes to the 3 R's, let's quickly do some examples. When it comes to sleep hygiene, all right, so you are already brushing your teeth at night. I would hope so. So your new habit is, after I brush my teeth, I will dim the lights and read for 15 minutes before bed. The reward, feeling relaxed and sleepy and leading to a beautiful, restful, long sleep. Number 2, example, when it comes to nutrition, your current habit is you're already making your morning coffee or tea. So, new habit, before I make my coffee or tea, I will drink a large glass of lemon water. Reward, feeling hydrated and energized, contributing to overall health. Current habit, your lunch break. New habit, before I break for lunch, I will spend 5 minutes mindfully observing my food. The reward is savoring my food more, feeling more satisfied, and improving digestion. Number 3, example when it comes to movement. You're already sitting down at your desk. So, new habit, after I sit down on my desk, so after you sit, I will do 2 minutes of desk stretches. The reward, feeling refreshed and energized, preventing stiffness from sitting all day. Check out my video on chair yoga. Current habit, turning on your favorite show. So before I turn on my show, I will go around the block and go for a quick walk, even if it's 10, 15 minutes. The reward, enjoying your show guilt-free, knowing that you've got some movement in before sitting down. Stress management, your current habit, checking my emails in the morning. New habit, before I check my email, I will do the 4-7-8 breathing technique for 1 minute. How amazing is that? So this allows you to feel calm. That's reward, feeling calm and more centered before starting my day. Current habit, end of your work day. Before I leave my desk, okay, new habit, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Reward, leaving work with a positive mindset, reducing stress from the day, and you avoid bringing it home. Digital wellness, current habit, picking up my phone, new habit. Before I unlock my phone, I will take 3 deep belly breaths. Reward, becoming more mindful of my phone use and reducing mindless scrolling. Current habit, getting ready for bed. New habit, before I get into bed, I will put my phone on airplane mode in another room. Reward, improved sleep quality, reduced temptation to check my phone at night and avoid that blue light. So there are so many amazing examples that you can start habit stacking. So really stacking the new habit with your current habit and really reaping the rewards. I am so excited for you to try this. And actually, let me know in the comments below if it's working for you and what are your current and new habits. Ciao for now.